a text. Right, let's have a look and see what the industry is doing. Let's take a snapshot. Julia Lo Bue-Said is with me. She's CEO at Advantage Travel Partnership, which is the UK's largest independent travel agent and travel management company consortium. So there. Hello, Julia. Morning.
Good morning. Morning, Andrew.
How is it? Are people booking? Are people willingly sort of giving their money over at the moment? There must be such a huge amount of uncertainty for the industry, who then may have to give this money back.
Yeah, it's a really difficult time, Andrew, and continues to be 12 months on. We have certainly seen bookings coming through, and I think what we certainly find is when you map against the roadmap announcements from the ministers and the Prime Minister back on the 22nd of April or 22nd of February, you can absolutely correlate positive consumer sentiment with bookings. What is not happening, and what we're certainly not seeing through our membership, is, on the 17th of May onwards, which, just to remind you, is the earliest date at which the PM has said that international travel could resume, the earliest date. We're not seeing consumers booking for then. We're seeing a lot of business from September onwards. But I think it's really important. You made some really good points before, and I think it's really important. You did. It's very good. What I thought was really, really important, and think looking at the reports that came out from a number of scientists yesterday, was, the Prime Minister made it very clear that the roadmap that's been put in place requires the Global Travel Task Force, which has been made up of industry experts plus scientists, coming together to work through what a solution for opening international travel could look like. They are due to announce their report on the 12th of April. So the frustrating thing from an industry perspective is there's only 2 weeks to wait. We've got 2 weeks to wait. And in the meantime, it would be really helpful if these scientists fed into the report, as opposed to potentially just speaking to the press and creating heightened anxiety and tensions across the consumers, not just businesses, but also the consumers, because understandably what it then does is it creates concern for anyone that has booked. And actually, it's not just holidays. You've got people across the world that are dying to see loved ones again, and businesses that require travel as well. But
Julia, I'm not going to go anywhere if there's even a vague possibility of having to stay in a hotel room somewhere for 11 days at my own expense, quite a lot of expense, and get tested twice. In other words, if I have to quarantine on the way back, no chance for me.
Yeah. I think the reality is most of us would feel the same way. I've got a holiday booked for August, but if I have to quarantine on the way back, that's really not the way I want to spend 10 days, 11 days after returning from holiday, which is why this Global Task Force report is really important. And it will look at the points you talked about before, the different risk factors that have to be taken into consideration by government, and also the balance of risk. So what risk are we willing to live with? Clearly, none of us want to live in a world where there is risk of contracting COVID, but also we know that we can't live completely shut down forever. So it's a very, very difficult kind of equation.
And the messages about where UK tourists would be welcome are sort of interesting at the moment as well, because we know, I've been on holidays in Greece and in Cyprus, the Balearic Islands as well, Croatia, Portugal. These places are open, or they say they will be open to UK tourists from May the 17th. Now, by that stage, nearly all the people who are at risk, or most at risk of getting ill, being hospitalised and or dying, will have been vaccinated here. But it's the vaccination story in Europe and elsewhere that we have to be so concerned about. I bet you never thought you'd have to be so well informed on medical matters.
No, it's certainly, the last 12 months certainly can add a few more points onto to one CV. I can tell you that much for sure. But it's a really good point, and I think from our perspective, and certainly a lot of our members, what they're really keen to understand is actually it's great that these destinations want us, and that's fantastic. We're less worried about the date as to when they reopen. What we need to understand is actually how they're going to keep our consumers safe, and that's still really important. So it's not just about destinations opening, it's also about the protocols that will be in place.
So when scientists tell LBC, as they have done regularly, including yesterday, that summer holidays are extremely unlikely, what's your initial reaction? Do you swear?
I do, very, very loudly and lots of times. I honestly cannot see the point. I just don't understand why when emotions are so heightened for everyone, not just anyone thinking of a holiday, Why is that the responsible thing? Why are they not feeding into the government report? I think, I saw one of them, there was a couple of them, but one was a sage advisor. Well, feed into the global task force. Do not just communicate and actually not be cognizant of what the comments that have been made and the impact it has, not just to businesses who are decimated at the minute, but also to consumers and travellers who need to travel.
Yeah.
Very frustrating.
Good luck to you, Julia. It's not been easy to be in this particular business, but hopefully the appetite, a bit like with theatres and restaurants, hopefully the appetite for getting up and out and away is going to be huge when you do come back and you're full on once again. And I hope everybody's up and running in the business, in the industry as well.
Thank you.
Julia Lo Bue-Said is Chief Exec at Advantage Travel Partnership. 7:10 is the time.